Good morning, boys and girls. Today we're going to learn about counting fractional parts. Now, we had a lesson on this last week, but we're just going to do more of a review on it today. I know sometimes it can be a little tricky. So, I'm going to show you an example that I already have up on my board here. I look at the two shapes that are here, and I know that they're broken into fourths. And I can see that because I can see that they are broken up each into four pieces. So my instructions say to show 6/4. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to color in six of these parts. One, two, three, four, five, six. Now, the tricky part is how to write it. This one on the left here is completely full. So that shows me one entire group. So I have, try this one more time. I have one whole shape and two fourths. Now, I'm sure some of you are thinking, what do you mean you have two fourths? Well, my one whole is right here. So this whole thing is one. Then when I look over here on the right side, this has space for four, but I'm using two out of four. Let's look at another example. Now, sometimes your shapes may be a little different. They won't be common shapes like a circle or a square. Sometimes you'll have a shape maybe like a triangle. So let's try one with a triangle here. I'm going to rotate my board so I have a little bit more room here. So let's say my problem is a big one. And let's say my problem here says, excuse me, I have 9 halves. That's a lot of halves. So what we're going to do is we're going to look to see how many wholes that is and how many halves I have left over. So let's count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4 there where the whole area is shaded in. And then I have 1/2 over here. So I have 4 wholes and 1/2. Now sometimes it'll have it spelled like this, or sometimes it'll have it spelled like this. And either way, that just means I have 1/2. I have one complete group out of 2. Now, when I look at my problems, sometimes they'll be broken up even smaller pieces. So I'm going to try a harder one just so that way you don't get confused. So when I was looking at the shapes that I had earlier, I'm going to use squares, but this time I'm going to break them up into even smaller pieces. So let's say each of these is broken up into 6. So I'm just going to make sure that each of these are equal. Now, on your paper today, they should already have the shapes, but if they don't, you know how to draw them. So let's say that when I look at this, it wants me to show 8/6. Now that sounds crazy, but we know how to do it. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. How many holes do I have? One hole. One is completely filled in. And 2/6. If you have one that has even smaller pieces, let's say eighths or tenths, it's the same thing. So you're going to figure out how many pieces you need, color in the ones that you need, and count. Remember, if all of the parts are shaded in, that's one hole, okay? So let's look at our seesaw today and find out what they're asking for in your instructions, okay? Now, I was looking at the assignment earlier, and I think you guys can totally do this one on your own. So let me bring it up here. Give me 1 second for my screen to switch. Okay, here's our seesaw for today. Now, let's go back to the assignment just for a second. It's fractions 609 and 610. So it says you can make fractions with more than one whole. These shapes are each 1/8 of larger shapes. Color to show the eighths. So it's just what I showed you on my board. So here they had 15/8. So they colored 15 parts and they had one whole part and then 7/8. Now, like I said, some of these shapes won't be typical shapes like squares or circles. So this one right here on the left says 7/2 is equal to blank holes and blank half. Remember I said that that word is the same as this word. So we would count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And then you would tell me how many holes or how many complete shapes you have, and then how many you have left over. Our next page here is just as easy, but if you need help with this one, I want you to think about your shapes. I want you to think about how many parts it has, okay? Now, for 5, 6, and 7, this one's pretty tricky, but if you draw your shapes, it can help you. It says, for each problem, complete the sentences, look for a pattern. Blank halves is equal to one whole. How many half pieces do you need to make one whole? Okay. The second one says blank halves is equal to 2 holes. So you'll need to draw 2 shapes, cut those in half. This half and this half makes 1. This half and this half makes 2. Okay. And then you're going to keep going through. Now, if you have one that says is equal to 4 or 5, you're going to do the same thing. Half, half, whole, half, half, whole. Then count the half pieces that you have. Okay. All right. Today, you will also need to be working on your personal learning time. It's a new week. So you'll be working on your spiral review today and your fact fluency. The link is already there for you. So when you go through that, I want you to go ahead and get started on those. You also have an assignment for science today. It's the content connection videos and STEMscopedia. You have 2 videos to watch and a STEMscopedia to complete. So you have quite a bit of work to do today, but I know that you guys can do it. You guys are great kids. Please do not forget to work on ScoopPad. That's part of your fact fluency because I count those as a grade. Okay? Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you guys have a wonderful day. And thank you so much for being such great kids. Let me go ahead and close this here. Thank you for working hard, and we'll see you very soon. Bye, guys.